Now we're going to animate Beaker 2 in a more complex fashion. We're going to use path animation. If you're following along, continue with the file that we currently have open. If not, click on the Application button, Open. In the Open File dialog, navigate to the Chapter 8 Datasets directory. Click on the file named Chapter 8 Animation03.max. The first thing we'll do is select Beaker 2 at the back right-hand side of the table. In this step, we're going to add a path constraint to the beaker in order to assign the beaker to the animation path we want to use. Click on the Animation menu option from the main menu. From the Animation drop-down, hover your cursor over the Constraint option and select Path Constraint from the flyout menu. In the viewport, you'll see a rubber band line that stretches from the axis of the beaker out to the cursor. Click on the path that's lying on the top of the table. If you can't see it in the perspective view, you can go into the top view and click on it. However, even if you just see little pieces of it sticking out of the table, you can place your cursor on top of it and it will recognize the shape that's there. Go ahead and click on the shape. This will assign the beaker to the path automatically. You'll also notice that it created two keys in the timeline and that it took us over to the Motion panel and allows us to edit the properties of the beaker's motion along the animation path. This automatically assigns what's called a path position constraint to the position controller of our object. We can see this by going to the Assign Controller rollout in the Motion panel and clicking on the plus to the left of the Position List controller of the beaker. You'll see that we have added a path constraint into the list. Now if we drag the time slider back and forth, you can see that a more complex animation has been assigned to the pivot point of the Beaker 2 object. Keep in mind that the path you use contains only one spline shape and is not a compound shape object. You'll notice that it's also much easier to create an animation that moves in a way that would be more difficult to keyframe. If we wanted to keyframe this animation, we would have to deal with many different keyframes and be able to adjust all of them to accomplish what the path does in 2 clicks. Press Ctrl S to save the file.